better than one Jasmine, two Jasmines. If you didn't know, AtomBombBody's name is also Jasmine. So we're really excited to introduce to you our new podcast title or name, VR and All That Jazz.
I love it. And what's funny too is our names are spelled the same way, because usually you have like a variation, right? You'll get like JAZ and then, or maybe there's no E at the end, but like it's spelled literally exactly the same.
I get those questions all the time. Is it with a Z? Is there an E at the end? Is it a Y? And I'm like, what? Spell it the normal way, obviously.
Yeah. And to make it easier, like you could still call her Jasmine and me Adam, just to make it easier. It's funny though, because when I see you in person, it's weird to like say my own name if I'm like Jasmine, but it just it sounds like I'm talking to myself.
Which yeah, I'm always used to Adam. Yeah, if you talk to yourself, that's fine too.
That's my other secret.
Yes, so we are an all-female VR podcast, as you can tell. Hooray! All right, Adam, do you want to, I'm sure everybody here knows who you are already, but do you want to give a little intro to yourself just in case?
Yeah, so I'm another VR Jasmine, but not the VR with Jasmine. I normally just go by AtomBombBody. I actually started off as a completely random Twitch streamer. I played regular flat screen games for a couple years until Half-Life Alyx came out, and at that point, I wanted to figure out like how the heck do you stream VR, because it seemed like this foreign concept to me. And as I was looking up videos or ways to do that, I thought, hey, man, other people are probably going to be struggling trying to figure out how to stream or capture VR too. And so that's sort of what inspired me to start my YouTube channel, which has a bunch of tutorials for anyone who wants to stream VR in various ways, whether in how to see chat, how to just get VR on your screen so that your stream could see it in the first place, all that good stuff. And then eventually I worked with Live, or I still work with Live, but they're basically a VR capture software. So if you've seen people playing Beat Saber where they're inside the game, or people using avatars and stuff, or reading chat, it's usually probably going to be Live. Long story short, started off as community manager. Now I'm product marketing, and the rest is pretty much history. Now I sort of doing less focus on the content creation side. Now I'm doing that more for fun. I think I had pressured myself into like, okay, we're working in VR, but now I had this unrealistic expectation of like, you must post one video a week on YouTube and you must post 4 TikToks to stay relevant. But I don't know why I did that to myself. It was kind of dumb. So now, so my content is kind of sporadic. It's just, I post when I'm actually really excited about something or something looks fun. And I'm always doing the Live stuff. And I'm happy that I'm so happy to be on this podcast. And I'm so happy that you did it. You did it, Jasmine. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine.
No, thank you, Jasmine.
Oh man, we're so dorky. It's funny because I actually also started as a random Twitch streamer, and I was using Live, in fact, to stream Beat Saber. Exactly what you're saying. That's totally how I started. And for you, people are asking you, like, how did you stream? Like, how do you stream in VR? For me, people are like, what the heck is on your head? What are you doing? What is this? Like, what is this madness? And so I also started my YouTube channel as a tutorial channel, but not on how to stream. Mine was on what the heck is VR and what am I doing in this? Why am I wearing a weird thing on my head? So it's a pretty similar thing. I think some people here already know too that I also like create content. And that's like a big part of my life. So I also had the same thing as you. I was like really pressuring myself, like, you must make a YouTube video. And I would be like, I was miserable. I don't even know why I was forcing myself. It was like so much pressure. And now that I'm like, I'm making content when I feel like it. If you've seen any of my YouTube videos lately, they have been so casual. And I'm like, you know what? I don't care. That's me now.
Yeah.
Casual
and in a lot of cases, you almost feel pressured, like, oh, there's this newest, latest, and greatest game that everyone's talking about that you may not care for that much, but you feel like because everyone else is talking about it, you have to cover it. But you don't have to cover it. Like you do the stuff, like you can still do things that you enjoy without feeling pressured and putting unrealistic expectations on yourself. Don't be like us.
Yeah. Lesson learned. Don't be like the Jasmines.
No, but I'm so like, because having an all-female VR podcast is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but it's just like there's no way in hell I've got fingers and all sorts of different pies, and that sounded really weird, but you know what I mean. And then so when you said, you know what, I'm gonna finally do it, I'm like, yes. Like I can't be the captain of the ship, but I would love to be a like hardcore supporter in helping you in any way that I can. So I'm glad that someone finally did it, and I'm glad that it was you. And I think that you were perfect for this. So I'm so happy, so proud.
You know, it's so funny because me and Adam have seen each other in so many different like events now. Like every couple of months, we'll see each other at a VR event. We don't live anywhere near each other, by the way. And every time, especially when we're like, you know, when a little drinking's involved, we're like, someone should start an all-female podcast. And we're like, yeah, someone should. Right?
It came up every time.
Every single time we would meet up for like a year. And I was thinking this whole time it would be Adam, like, because she was the one who was always bringing it up. And I was like, okay, I hope she does it because I don't know if I'm going to do it. But here we are. So we're both here and we are very excited. And talking about, too, how you said, like, we were covering a lot of games that everyone was covering. So you felt pressure to cover it. This is the like, not popular game, but like, you know, we're going to cover some games that you probably won't hear of in other podcasts because they're just not your typical games. And we're very excited about that. So yeah. Speaking on that, Adam, do you want to talk about what we're going to cover today a little bit?
Sure. We've got, well, first of all, only a couple of hours ago was the PlayStation showcase, which I will try to, I'm going to hide my thoughts on that until later. But we've also got some PC Oculus news. I don't know if it's great news, but we'll get to there. Some hints for potentially Quest 3 stuff and other AR involving snippets, but also I don't want to talk too long about it, but I'll talk a little bit about Live stuff. And then probably we can also do some like ideas, future stuff that we have planned for future show stuff, see what people think. Kind of, I think that'd be fun. Like
that is a good idea. Yeah. So let's say hi to everybody. Thank you everyone for showing up. Stash was one of the first ones before the show even started. He says, thumbnail is lit. Thank you. We have Draco, Smooth, Mall Raider, Go Cry. I do that often. Minnick. Hey, call me Clay. Dwayne, thank you, Dwayne, for tuning in. Dwayne from now Reed Pop. Very cool.
Former Shell. So sweet. Like such a nice guy. I'm sad that Shell lost you, but happy for where you've gone on to. And also sorry about E3. Sad.
There's also Space Denizen. Hello, Shaggy, and Minnick and Eric from Q2CVR Gamer. Says my two favorite Jasmine. So I think we're the only Jasmine you know. So I would hope so, but thank you.
Nice compliment. It's covering all the bases.
And Alex VR is here. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, but we have something very serious we need to talk about today, actually. And that is the fact that Meta has now evicted their PCVR users from their customized Oculus Home.
I'm curious on, okay, so for me, I'm primarily, I never had the Rift. The original OG Vive was kind of mine, so I was used to the Steam VR Home. And I remember, at least for the Steam VR Home, it was pretty cool. I liked having the customized stuff, but I didn't really use it that much after a while. So I'm curious to see if anyone else, how many people really used their customized home. But I'm so sad because I'm sure people has really cool stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, so I started on the CV1. That was my very first headset. So the customized home, that I don't think I customized as much as I should have. I was just playing Beat Saber all the time. But I didn't even realize that this happened. But I'm part of the Oculus Ambassador program. And all of a sudden, the day that this happened, there was a flood of messages in there from several content creators. For example, I don't know if you knew this, but Techman Jew actually uses his showcases his home a lot on his videos. There was a couple of people that were really, really upset, and there was no warning that this was happening. So people were literally just comparing losing their Oculus Home as it felt really shaken because it's something that they invested a lot of time in. They've spent 5 years building up their homes, and all of a sudden they just got kicked out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine I didn't think about that some people probably did use it just for like backgrounds of stuff. And yeah, just like surprise, we don't have it anymore. It's like what I mean, like at least some warning maybe. I don't know. That's so weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit shocking. But on to, I guess, some maybe better news. Oops, that's not what I wanted. It looks like we saw the Quest 3 leak. I'm sure everyone has seen this. There were like a lot of posts on Reddit and Twitter that now games are supporting Quest 3.
How, okay, as someone who's kind of stupid, non-developer-y, non-engineer-y, how can that work? Like when it came from like Quest 1 to Quest 2, could it just be an automatic port of Quest 1 to Quest 2 without much developer end stuff? I mean, because I'm curious, I didn't see exactly which posts this came from, but like which games have Quest 3? Is it assumed that any Quest 2 game can be played on the Quest 3? Again, coming from stupid brain, I don't know how that works.
Well, I don't know if I can help you because I'm also a stupid brain when it comes to developer stuff. But I do think that I know that with a lot of these like new headsets and like anything new that comes out, usually like anything from before could be ported over. It's usually not the other way though. Anything on like a new headset or a new console or a new something, usually like the games developed, for example, the games developed for Quest 2, a lot of them don't work on Quest 1 just because the hardware and the processing power and stuff don't work there. So,
Yeah.
So yes, I do believe that like every single game should work on the Quest 3.
That's interesting. And plus, I'm sure that all the, if there was, I'm sure there had to have been some kind of deal prior with the game developers. They can't tell us yet. Like when everybody knew they were going to be on the PSVR 2 and that they knew they had one and they knew what it looked like, but they couldn't tell us, of course, because NDAs and all that fun stuff. But that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's like so many meta leaks. I'm like, do they do this on purpose? Like, I've heard people joking around. Like, are we gonna see like a Quest 3 just laying in some hotel room somewhere?
Yes, I was just gonna say that. I was like, remember, was that the Quest Pro that just got left outside, and then someone found it, put it on Reddit? That nobody ever knows if that was intentional or not.
But like at this point, it's like, did they do this on purpose? Like, I don't know. I mean, it's right before the PlayStation showcase. Like, were they like, by the way, don't forget, this is happening.
They all have like the same names, but Meta's gaming event is coming up pretty soon too. So yeah, maybe they're. I don't know. I still don't know if they're gonna announce Quest 3 at that event, but now that I'm starting to see Quest 3 on stores, I think that they might. I don't think it's gonna be like, hey, surprise, it's available now, but I think it's gonna be like, here's when it's coming out. Like it's announced, here's pretty videos of it. So I'm interested.
You never know. And yeah, speaking of everything being named the same exact thing, I actually I did stream the PlayStation Showcase, which I called PlayStation Gaming Showcase on TikTok. Yeah, right. Okay, let's talk about this. This is the impressive everyone kept saying the PSVR 2 or the PlayStation Showcase is going to be amazing. It's going to have all these games. It's going to revolutionize PSVR 2. And I was so bored during the entire I was so upset actually. The first 40 minutes, I was like, where the heck are these VR games? Are you kidding me right now? I was like, I have a podcast, my very first podcast, thank you, that I have to prepare for, Sony. And you spent 40 minutes of my life like watching all these like games I don't care about.
Oh, there's a lot of Spider-Man. I mean, a ton of if you really like Spider-Man, there was like, I don't know, it seemed like over 10 minutes, but yeah, like, and what's sad is we knew about most of these. They're not really new. I will say I'm excited for Arizona Sunshine 2. And I know it's another zombie game and we have a ton of those, but hey, at least Vertigo's got a good track record for zombie games. And I loved the first Arizona Sunshine. They did a pretty good job in After the Fall. And most important to me is they're good at co-op. Like I'm all for more VR co-op games. I assumed this one would be co-op. It'd be super sad if it wasn't, but you know, I'm hopeful. And there's a dog in it. I don't know if you've watched the whole trailer, but it seems like there might be a dog, and I'm very excited for that.
I have not seen the whole trailer. I don't normally play shooters, zombie games, and any of those things. And I think I feel like when you watch the PlayStation Showcase, especially when you were forced to watch the first 40 minutes with no VR in it whatsoever, every single title, one after another, was like, oh my gosh, you're going to be an epic hero, fight everybody, just destroy stuff, slay stuff, blah, blah, blah. And you know what? I know a lot of people love that stuff, and like, good for them. Everyone likes different things, but I was like, I don't think me and PlayStation are friends. I think we're in different friend circles.
Maybe it's just the time of year. I don't know. But I always kind of have a expect nothing and then be pleasantly surprised when there are things, kind of an attitude towards these shows and events. But at least and the Resident Evil 4 one's interesting, but again, because I coming from zombie horror loving, but not surprising, really. We already kind of knew about it. So I don't know. We'll see. I just want more co-op. I want more co-op games. Would you do zombies or horror if they were co-op? That question for you. Was that
I've played not zombies particularly, but I played like Ghost of Tabor when I can like hide behind people. Yeah, I love it.
But that's not horror though. That's just shootery.
Oh gosh. Okay, yeah, but that's horror to me.
No, yeah, it's always like any of these things are more fun with friends, so that makes sense. Like I might try it if I had a good group and I was like, you know what, I'm not like I'm not really competitive or anything. I think that's why the shooters don't appeal to me too much. I like shooters, but they have to have some kind of like unrealisticness about them. Like I don't like the tactical ones. They have to have either zombies or monsters or weird guns or something that's not so realism. And it's not because I get
Borderlands. Does that count? I love Borderlands. That was great. But I liked it because there's that character, the siren, where I could just like disappear anytime I got overwhelmed. And it was like, this is great. If I had this skill in real life, anytime I was overwhelmed, disappear, come back, like explode and get rid of all my problems. Oh, fantastic. But yeah, that was a great game.
So stuff like that. That's not like tactical or grounded in reality. And it's not that I I'm offended by realistic shooters. It's just boring to me. I just want something unusual. You know what I mean? That's all I ask.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people with like thoughts in the comments about.
Did you see? Okay, I didn't look at the trailer for it, but there was a game called Foam Stars that's supposed to be like another. What's that other?
Splatoon.
Splatoon. It's also a weird name. I don't know.
I that trailer started off so promising. It looked really good. Then once they like switched from like cinematics to like actual gameplay, and all it was people like sliding around on foam and shooting each other. I know that sounds really weird, but it is really weird. And then they were like, and the title is Foam Stars. I was like, excuse you.
That's like the opposite end of the spectrum. When I say I don't want realistic, but I mean that's a bit. I don't know. Like, yes, I have a fantasy of shooting people with foam, or like I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be geared towards kids, probably, right? Because Splatoon is not. Splatoon is kind of like middle. Like it can be kiddie, but adults play it too. I guess kind of like what Fortnite happened, but. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I was not interested in that whatsoever.
The name makes me giggle.
It's terrible. I'm not going to say anything else about it. But maybe they did it on purpose.
Smart marketing.
So Shaggy says, after Sony's poor showing, Meta is in no hurry. Ouch. Why don't you put like a nail in the coffin? Hey, call me Clay. Hi, Clay. Says, I was excited for it as a PlayStation fan, but it could have been an email. Ouch.
It really could have.
Yeah,
I mean,
burns.
As far as the PlayStation, the PSVR 2 announcements, yeah, I feel like I could have seen these on Twitter, on my Twitter feed, and been like, oh, cool.
Exactly. I mean, we just looked at it on VRO's Twitter. It was like 4 lines. Synapse did look exciting for sure. Shaggy also says Sony's been trolling VR fans for 7 years.
Sads. And then I guess on the Beat Saber end, I think I did read if you had Beat Saber on the original PSVR, I believe you get a free upgrade for the PSVR 2. Plus they have some kind of like Queen music pack, I believe, that's coming out or something. Or it was supposed to be live right after the show, and I know a lot of people were kind of refreshing their stores and not see. I haven't checked since we started the podcast to see if it actually finally is live, but I mean, people love Beat Saber. I guess that'd be good for new to VR people. It's a classic, but you know, maybe us veterans are kind of salty and we're like, okay, we know Beat Saber, we love it, we get it.
But it's 5 years old. They just celebrated their 5-year anniversary, and it's just like, if that is what like Sony is showing in their showcase, they're like, look, we finally got a 5-year-old game on our headset. Like, it's a little behind there.
No, I guess they have to go backwards in some cases, because it's hard to figure out if they have to cater to both, right? Both new VR users that maybe haven't ever had, you know, Quests or PCVR headsets, but also to us veterans, quote unquote, if you think about it, are probably more rare. Like, how many actual people can say they have multiple headsets on multiple platforms?
No, that's fair. You know, we're so jaded. You're so right. Yeah, exactly. So, that's such a good point.
So I can see both sides. Like, on my end, as a angry, I don't say VR veteran because that makes it sound like I have way more experience than I have. But yeah, it's like, okay, we get it, Beat Saber, everybody loves you. But for getting new people into the headset, hopefully, as long as Beat Saber can, like, people play other games too besides just Beat Saber, maybe that's their first, then that's good, I guess.
I mean, you know, to be fair, I do still play Beat Saber like every week, to be honest. Like, it's 5 years old and I still play it every single week. But yeah, you're right. Not everybody has been in VR for ages and doesn't have a headset on every single platform. So fair enough. But I was hoping that at least if they ported it to PSVR 2, that they would do something special. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a music pack. But I guess what else you gonna do?
So there is another headset though that is doing something really unique and quite interesting. So Bigscreen just showed that they now have a payment plan. That's your cue.
Oh, well, I guess I've seen everybody's reviews by everybody, you know, all the other big YouTubers who've covered the headset, and a lot of them are saying that they do like. I've been holding on, as far as PCVR headsets, I've been holding on to my Valve Index for forever, and I really, really, really would love something else. And I'm not gonna lie, it's been kind of tempting with Bigscreen Beyond, but you know, it is a big price tag. But I also hate the idea of being in debt. Like I try to avoid it like the plague. And $32.23 a month isn't bad, but yeah, 36 months. I wonder if they'll give options. Like, is that the only option, or can you do, like, I don't know. I'm a part Asian that's bad at math. Like, can you do like 12 months and increase that amount monthly? Can you? I wonder if they have like more customizable plans. But it's interesting. I don't think we've seen a headset do that before that I can think of.
I haven't seen. You just said so many things in one go.
Sorry, I get excited.
Thank you for that finance lesson. I also don't like being in debt. But this is a very interesting option. It's not something we've seen, and a lot of people do complain about how headsets are so expensive. So that's one thing that I'm like, okay, this is good, because then it can get some more people into VR, and anything that gets more people into VR is I'm happy with. I do not condone debt. So only buy what you can, what you live within your means, or what was it? My sister always says something like live within your wage or something. I don't know what she says. But that part's interesting. The thing that I'm wondering though is, well, for you, you've had the Valve Index for forever. Anyone who's had the Valve Index has had it for forever, and it's still going strong. And I'm like, is the big screen beyond going to still go strong after 36 months? Or are you going to be like 20 months in, like being like, oh, I keep having to pay this thing that I don't even use anymore, you know? So that's kind of what I'm curious about, because as we know, like the Quest 1 was
And I mean, I'm still a big, Valve fangirl, and we hear all about Deckard around the corner. Eventually, it must be a super long ass corner. But so I feel like if I did buy Big Screen Beyond, then some kind of weird, not karma, but something equivalent will bite me in the butt and be like, hey, surprise, we're announcing Deckard. And I'm like, I literally just bought a new PCVR headset. Why would you do this to me? Like, I feel like it's close enough where I might be willing to wait on and pass on big screen, but it has been, I would say, the most tempting PCVR headset yet, and normal one, not including like industry like Vario level stuff where I'm like, whoa, that's way beyond what I would use it for, kind of a thing.
That's exactly how I feel too. Everyone who has their hands on the big screen is like, this is the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm like, dang it, I just want to try it. Like, I don't want to spend like $1,000 without knowing. Oh, it's so tough. But yeah, it's definitely the most tempting thing that I've tried or that I've like seen in the market so far.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like VR headsets are split into 3 different markets now. You have like PCVR, those are for hardcore PC people, just hardcore in general. And then you have your Quests, your wireless, which are more for casual VR, maybe a little bit more fitness. And then I would even put console VR into its own category, because that's kind of like if you want the high end, but you don't have a high end PC, but you want the graphics, but you already have a console, you already have a PlayStation, and maybe your PC is kind of okay, or maybe you only have a laptop, kind of a thing. So it's like, it's interesting to see the divide. How I didn't even think that. I mean, why do we all have P's and V's and C's and all of our names for it? The PSVR, like it did exist before, but I feel like now there's a deeper divide between like the 3 different categories, which is interesting. And I don't know, I'm all for it. I'm fine with it.
It's definitely interesting. So maybe let's talk a little bit about some games we've been playing. Let's get into some games now and stop talking about headsets for a second. So, okay. Me and Adam earlier picked like the games that we like, one game each that we've been both playing lately. Okay. And so, just like, okay, mine's not really a game. Okay. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Just kidding.
Mine's not really a game, but just accept what I have to offer you. All right. So I have been playing, it's not even, I've been using this app called Immerse Online. It's like you can learn a language in VR, basically. And so you go to this class, and it's like a live lesson, and you have a live teacher, and all the students are live. So you have to book a class. It's almost like booking like a workout class. And then you go in there, and depending on like the lesson, you're in like different, you're like in different environments. You're either like in a park or in like a house, and then people just like speak in the language that you're trying to learn. So I was trying to learn Spanish. So yeah, it's probably the most, like, I don't know, realistic way to learn. They're not really sure. What did they pick? Here we go. It's probably it's probably the most realistic way to learn a different language, not being in person, that I've seen so far. So I thought this was a pretty neat idea, that you have to have like live classes where you talk to people in real time with a teacher.
Okay, I see what you mean by not being completely gamey, but kind of gamey. But I like it because there's another, I can't remember the name of it, but there's another game app on Steam that's like a language learning one that I've wanted to try, but I don't think it has the multiplayer component like this one does. So you have to like, do you have to sign up for classes, or do they also have kind of like individual sort of like sessions?
Nothing individual. Everything is like classes, and you have an actual teacher who teaches you. So right now, because I think maybe I'm picking like the weird time since I work from home, so I can do like an afternoon one or something. But usually it's just been me by myself. I think the most people you can have in this is like 8 people total, like 8 people. And you always have like a teacher or like a professor. And so when I went in there, I was always by myself, and she would, I was in the basics class and she just started speaking straight up in Spanish. And she was like, okay, tell me what you caught from that. And I was like, can you put that on like can I see that in text? And she was like, no, first you have to just tell me like what you heard. And like she was like, based on what you heard, run around this room and like grab the objects that I discussed and like maybe let's talk about them.
Yeah. I wonder how they hire people for the app then. Like that's I don't know. I like knowing all the behind the scenes stuff. But
yeah, it's probably really I've basically gotten a one-on-one lesson every single time I've gone in here. So it's probably very like expensive for them. But I'm imagining that they're like playing the long game. Like hopefully in the long term they'll be able to have enough people that will cover their costs. And yes, it's called Nountown. Thank you, Mind Drive. You're talking about Nountown, right?
Oh yeah, Nountown. Yes, that's what I was talking about. That's on like maybe Steam and Quest. I don't think that one's multiplayer though. Yeah. That's the one. So for the one you're talking about, is there like a subscription service or something?
Yeah.
Or like how do they? Okay, because I was like,
yeah.
Hopefully they get more people in because it sounds sad. I mean, it's good that you get private lessons, but I'm like, oh man, I'd always feel bad when it's just like I hope that their business stays afloat.
It is definitely a subscription service. And when I first heard about this, I was like, oh, that's dumb. That's lame. But then I saw that they won 2 VR awards in December. And I was like, okay, wait, why did they get so many awards? What is going on here? So decided to finally give it a try. And like, it's legit. So if anyone wants to learn Spanish with me, you know where to find me. Okay,
cool.
let's talk about the game that you've been playing.
Okay, so I haven't finished it quite yet, but because I've been sick lately, if you can't tell from the quality of my voice, I've been playing Call of the Sea, which is a single-player story game. You basically you have a condition, and your husband went away to an island in the Pacific to try to find a cure for your condition, but he never comes back. So basically then you venture out and try to find him. And without spoilers, you kind of discover more about how his expedition went and more about yourself as well. And I've been enjoying it really well. Again, I've been playing this seated because I haven't been feeling very well, but I'm very, very close to the end, I think. I'm not, again, no spoilers, but for anyone who's played it, I just entered like the sanctuary, I believe, but it's really cool. Like it almost has, Mist vibes where you can look at a thing and then the character will have some kind of dialogue related to it, because I'm a big lore junkie. Like I have to look at all the pages and read everything to learn as much as I can. But I've been really enjoying this one. I have a really special place in my heart. Yeah, and I love, of course, the aesthetics of of the main character. But I'm excited. I want to stop the podcast so I can finish playing now, please. Just kidding.
So funny. This is definitely on my list of things to play, and I am going to play it sometime soon, especially because so if you didn't know, our podcast is very, very rare. We only stream, or we only have 1 episode per month. We are like
unicorn.
Yeah, a unicorn. I was gonna say a needle in a haystack, but a unicorn is nicer. So I am. Yes, we're like a unicorn. So we will have our very first guest next month in our next episode, and it is going to be from Call of the Sea. The producer for it is a very lovely lady, so we will have her on, and we can talk about this game a bit more then.
So excited. And I will say I've been playing Call of the Sea on the Quest. I don't remember if it's also on Steam, but regardless, I got it for the Quest because I kind of like the more casual games on there anyway. And the graphics look good. I feel like the games that do sort of that really kind of a cartoony style, and they don't try to take themselves too seriously and having the most realistic graphics, like those look great on the Quest. Like they're not trying to overcompensate with the best, most hardcore or anything. It's like the stylized stuff. So that's another reason why I've been enjoying it too, is it's really pretty.
There's some new people that popped into chat. So let's say hi to a couple more people. Alakazam, hello. Brandon VR, Sony didn't give devs enough time with the PSVR 2 to make games for it. Very true. Brandon VR, hello. Wait, did I just say Random VR? Am I repeating myself?
I'm scrolling down as you're reading, so let's just say no. This is totally the first time.
Hello, Bluebell. Good to see you. Ashley Huffman, one of the best ladies in the VR industry. We're so happy to have
her
you
on here.
We should have her on here. Oh my gosh. She is a legend.
Queen Mendix.
Yeah. Hussein is here. GC13, hello, good to see you. And then LinkedIn user, I don't know who LinkedIn user is because it doesn't show their name, but hi, they said, interesting, I love the concept. And Janami is here. And Show, oh, there's so many people. Hi, everybody.
Oh yeah, that's unfortunate. I could see what you mean about LinkedIn user. I wonder why it didn't, it worked for Dwayne.
Yeah. All right, so we do have a couple of games that are coming up that we're really excited for. And like we said, you know, there's plenty of people already covering like tactical shooters and like, you know, stuff that everyone's already playing. So we're going to talk about the games that I like and that Jasmine likes. Yay.
It's the us show. You hear that? It's us. You're going to watch it. You're going to like it.
You're going to get our opinion. So here we go. Okay, I'm actually so freaking excited about this next game that's coming up very soon. I can't remember when it's coming out. I think it's like June 15 or something.
Oh yeah.
It is Pixel Ripped 1978. I am so excited. This Pixel Ripped series is one of the series that I just like, I love so much. They're so great, so creative, really a throwback to nostalgia. So if you didn't play any of the other ones, basically you're like transported to your childhood and you're like playing console games as like a child again, and you're playing the game. So you're trying to defeat the game, but at the same time, there's all these things around you in your real life that are happening that you have to deal with. It's such a creative take on a game. And it's also, I think, really great for new like players because it is mostly seated, I believe. So it's not something that will give you like motion sickness, and it's so good. Have you ever played any of these, Adam?
Oh, I was worried you were going to ask me that because the Pixel Rip games have been on my list of like, why haven't you played these, you dumb person? No, I have not, but I really need to. And it's not because I don't like them. Like I want the nostalgia. Give me the nostalgia. It's just always slipped. Like, I don't know. There's always something going on, but I'm going to make it right. I'm going to actually play through them and this one. I'm going to do it. I swear.
Okay. It is really good. And you know what else is really cool about the Pixel Rip series is that the person who developed this game, I think her name's Anna, and I can't pronounce her last name, but it starts with an R. She's from Brazil, and she's a lady. She
cosplays too, or she always cosplays as the I don't know if the mascot has a name again because I'm haven't played the games yet, but it's so cool. Like every event she goes to, she just dresses up and has people like hold the helmet and stuff. It's super cool.
It's such a unique game. I really don't see any other I don't see any other VR games that have done this really. So yes, I'm really excited for this. This one you might be able to talk to a little bit more. So here's another game we're super excited for.
Yes. This one actually, so Hello Neighbor, this one actually came out today, I believe.
Oh, today?
Yes, at least, well, that's when the creator embargoes were up, so I'm pretty sure it's today. But long story short, with Hello Neighbor in particular, I kind of have a funny story with this one. They brought out a bunch of creators to LA. Some of us already lived there, so it didn't exactly have to go far. But you might start seeing on probably TikTok and YouTube Shorts. They basically rent out a couple studios. Valve did on behalf of Hello Neighbor, and they put us through like kind of like escape room puzzles, sort of like in Hello Neighbor. The premise is that you're a bunch of kids and this creepy neighbor's locked kids in a basement and you're trying to escape, basically. So that's what we did in real life. It was you
escaped the basement in real life?
No, well, they rented out studios that were kind of like 40s themed. One of them was like a 40s themed studio and the other one was kind of grungy basement jail cell looking. But it was interesting. So you might see from like Toast Tiny Beats.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of other
That's
people's there. If you
super
check out
cool.
their TikToks, yeah, you might see some of us doing crazy, silly things and solving puzzles and unlocking keys. And it was fun. This, I played this on the Quest a little bit, and when the neighbor grabs you, it is actually quite scary. I would say.
I haven't played this yet, but I'm actually going to stream it on Saturday. So if you're free Saturday, come hang out with me while I stream this. But I have a really funny story of how I first heard about this game. It was at PAX West last year. And it was, so I went to PAX West hoping there'd be a lot of like that scene where he just grabs you.
Yes.
So
in
funny.
VR, it's freaky. I've never played the game in desktop, but it's scary in VR. But sorry, go ahead.
So here, I'll play that part again. So
oh god,
there was a lot of like just flat games, and Hello Neighbor had this like really fancy elaborate booth, and I was like, what is this game? And I don't remember who I was with at the time, but they were like, are you kidding me? How do you not know about this game? Everybody knows about this game. So my sister was with me, and so we decided to play. And it was in the middle of the week at PAX. It was empty, super quiet. And my sister and I played on the same computer. And anytime the neighbor caught us, we would just start screaming our heads off and then giggling. We were just like, yeah! And then all the people that were playing around us, they were also playing this because they had a lot of different stations. They all started like just looking over. They were like, I don't even want to play. I just want to watch them play. They seem like they're having a great time. You're
attracting people to the booth.
I totally feel like this is going to be a very scary game for me, even though it's not intended to be scary. Like, so this is the closest to a scary game that I will play. So, come see me on Saturday.
I would say that's fair. Yeah, it's a scary game without being scary because it has that sense of like dread and anticipation and risk of like getting caught by, the scary neighbor. So that would be interesting to see you play. It's like getting your feet wet for maybe more horror games in the future. We'll see. If you like this one, maybe we can slowly up the game type.
That's
each
not happening. I don't know what you're trying to insinuate here, but the answer is absolutely not.
Eventually, we'll go from like Hello Neighbor and then just jump you into Phasmophobia. It'll be fine.
And just cry my eyes out. Oh my gosh. My old manager is in the chat. Hi, Alex. He says, Jasmine is the best. Thank you so much. That's so sweet.
Why, thank you. I've never met you before, but thank you. I'm going to start stealing all your compliments.
So, yeah. Well, we're both named Jasmine. So, unfortunately, you're now complimenting all of us here. I have... go ahead.
It's like, I don't know, Hello Neighbor. Again, I've only played it on the Quest. I've heard kind of mixed things about it from PSVR 2, that it's not very good. Quest is kind of like the middle, and PC also has, I guess, some bugs, which is unfortunate because I hadn't played the flat screen games, but
oh man, I'm gonna be very upset. I hope.
But do you have it on?
I don't know. I'm going to have it on something. I just I don't know yet. This is until Saturday. Why are you pressuring me? It's Wednesday. I'm not ready now.
I think from what I've heard is either PC or Quest has the smoother experiences that I've read. So maybe
I'm gonna try this out.
I have to watch. I'm really excited for you.
Thank you.
There's kids in it. It's fine. What could go wrong?
Yeah, right. Yeah, if there's kids, they can't do anything to the kids. Okay, so there is we have a couple more games on our list that we're excited for. This one's another Fisherman's Tale. When I played the first one of Fisherman's Tale, if you haven't played it, it's only like a 2-hour or less experience if you're a better player than me, which you probably are. So it's so mind-bendy, like trippy, the whole thing. You're just like you think you know what's happening, and then all of a sudden they inception you over and over and over again, and you're just like, what is real? Who am I? Like, look at this. I have no idea what this is going to be about, but I have a feeling that it's another one of those very inception-y type of games.
This also is going to make me seem like a bad VR person, and I didn't play the original. I do have keys for them. I just haven't played them because I'm a terrible, terrible person. But yeah, I feel like the first game is something that you can only really experience in VR. Like, it's, from what I've heard and what I've seen, it's something really special. Like, you just can't replicate that on flat screen, not
You
being inside of
cannot,
it.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So even though you haven't played this, you make a very solid point. Exactly right. That like so this game, I would say, Fisherman's Tale and also Pixel Rip are two games that do a phenomenal job at like maximizing VR and its capabilities. Because like there's some games that you're like, oh, does that really need to be a VR game though? But these games are not possible whatsoever in a non-VR game. And I think that's what makes me so excited about it.
That's what I kind of could appreciate about almost like eye tracking on the PSVR too, like games that will hopefully actually utilize it more. Like there was a game about memories that was actually a desktop game first. I can't remember it and I didn't play it, but you basically, when you blink, it sort of changes the flow of the memories for this girl. And I'm like, man, we need more. Like there's eye tracking in the PlayStation. Why aren't we using it more for VR games? Like you could do some cool stuff with it. Probably.
Why are you opening up a can of worms? I am also very upset. Why aren't we using all these features? Like there's eye tracking on the PlayStation, there's eye tracking and face tracking on the Quest Pro. Like what are we doing here?
I mean, they kind of had it in man, my brain is all broken when I'm sick, but that horror game that you probably didn't play, the roller coaster one for the PSVR 2. Someone Switchback, the Switchback VR game.
Oh right,
you probably saw it on Twitter. Yeah, like the mannequin scene, which was kind of disappointing because you have to blink to progress. It's not like you can keep your eyes open and then just it goes. You have to blink in order to progress, which is kind of disappointing. But I want more of that. I want more of that, like in horror games and other stuff too. It doesn't have to be just horror.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know there's some scary game on PC where like it can hear your microphone. So if you're scared, the monsters will find you or something. Yeah, if they start doing that in VR, I will watch whoever plays it because I sure as heck am not.
Those are hard for Twitch streamers too, because you're like, hey guys, I'm talking blah blah blah, and then you're just getting monsters all the time.
No.
But it's kind of funny at the same time. It's like, oh, if you're a streamer, we know you're gonna be screwed. It's awesome.
A couple of other people here. Jason says he can't stay, but he's saying hi real quick. And Blackcraft, hello, Blackcraft. And Dwayne says he has to go, but so happy to see you too. Thank you, Dwayne. We love you. There is another game. I don't know if you've seen this one yet, Adam, but I am so excited about this game. And I want to see if anyone else has seen this yet. So we're just gonna go into it. Should I put the volume here? I'll play a little bit of
you.
So if you've ever seen if you've ever lived on this earth, I am sure you've seen Super Smash Brothers. Like who has not played Super Smash Brothers?
What's that?
So this is like Super Smash Brothers, but in VR. It's so freaking cool. So this is like your hub here, and you have all your different heroes that you can play. All right, let's come on a little quicker here. Where is it? Here we go.
I want to see the heroes.
So you have this arena in the middle. There's like different arena rooms that you can be in, but like it's an arena in the middle, and you and the other people that are playing with you are like all like standing around this circular arena. So there's 4 of you, and your heroes are all in the middle attacking each other. But the part that's really cool about this is your characters don't just attack each other. Their ultimates can attack the other the other players. So not just the characters, but the players. So the ultimates, if you see, they come out and they come all around the arena. And so some of the ultimates will like blind you so you can't see and control your character, and all these other like really cool stuff. So it's basically VR. It's Super Smash, but using VR.
So it's almost kind of like Super Smash, but you've got like Demio player, like how Demio's got, you got the players on the side, but the board's in the middle, except you can like kill other players, or I don't know, knock them out. I guess you can't kill. That's very aggressive.
I guess, but there's no board game or anything in this. It's literally.
Oh no, but you would be like the board would be your arena, right? But no, that's interesting.
Yeah, and so it's exactly like Super Smash, except instead of like on a screen or whatever, if you're just looking at it in front of you and like you have your characters in front of you. And the part again that's really cool is just that not just can your characters attack other characters, but your characters can do an ultimate that can like blind the players themselves. So they really like, I mean, I thought that was a really cool aspect, that they really thought about what VR can do. And like they make these ultimates too, like very immersive. Like it's not just on the arena, it'll all of a sudden be like a wave that goes all over everybody and no one can see except the person who created the wave.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I want to blind everyone all the time.
I am really, and oh, right. And this game is going to be free, completely free. And it's coming out on June 7th. So I'm very excited about this game.
Oh man, that's super cool. I didn't know it was going to be free. I remember there was a beta for it some time ago that I didn't participate in. But wow, like I feel like we don't find a lot of good free VR games very often.
Yeah, but you know, we have been seeing a lot of VR games go more and more free to play, and that's I don't know what that means, but I know it means something. So if someone who's more analytical than me can tell me what that means.
Well, maybe I'm trying to figure out how they would monetize. They're probably going to have like other characters you could buy, or heroes rather.
In-app purchases for sure.
Yeah, so but I'm not against that. Maybe like 5-10 years ago when it was new, I may have been on board with the like, what is this like in-app stuff? But now I'm like, yeah, if the game if they're free and they need to monetize, like I want to be able to show my support. But it's not like, as long as it's not pay to win, as long as the heroes rather are fairly balanced, and it's not like if you buy this one Uber hero, you're guaranteed to win. So that's probably going to be a challenge for them, but I'm sure that's something they'll figure out.
I don't know if you've ever played League of Legends, but there's this phrase like skins to win or something. I don't remember what the phrase is, but like all you buy is like the skins of the characters. But people buy them and they look so cute. I totally would too. So,
that's a good point. They'll probably have skins for each hero too. No, I'm a sucker for it. Like I'm been waiting, not that it's anything VR related, not to sidetrack too much, but I've been so waiting for Diablo 4 to come out. And when they've been showing their shops and stuff, I'm like, I'm going to buy everything on this just because I don't know. I just love Diablo that much. I need my fix.
I've never played it before. We have two more games that I just want to show pretty briefly. So speaking of games that are similar to like flat games, there is this game. Well, I should probably mute this. There's this game called Rival Rides. It's been out for a while now, but it's like Mario Party / Fall Guys in VR, and they have I don't know, you just go and play against your friends on it. So this one's a nice, like another wholesome, family friendly type of game. So there's just different things that you can like compete in. So I think one of the ones that I really like in this one is there's like a cooking thing where you're you're trying to cook.
I played that one.
Yeah, and then you can like when you're cooking, you can like use a shrink ray to shrink someone else who's cooking, and then all of a sudden they like get shrunken and have to eat like one of their mushrooms to get back into normal size. So they've been doing a lot of updates on their game. And I think it's one to look out for. I'm not going to say any more. That's all I have to say.
It's been a while. I think it's pretty much just at launch was when I tried this one, but I will say it is very fun to rage induce your friends in the cooking game by just messing them up completely. I would have liked more like variety in some of their more shootery mini games, but I mean, again, a lot could have changed, and I forget when it was released. Not too long ago.
In January.
Has it been that long? Okay, maybe it has been a while. I don't know. Time flies. My sense of time is terrible.
And here's the last. Here's the last game that I wanted to mention, mostly because I thought that this was really cool and awesome. I haven't played this yet. It's called Rube Goldberg Workshop. Have you seen those commercials where people like make stuff? Like they'll put the dominoes and then they all fall, and then all of a sudden something hits a spoon and a ball goes, and you know this whole thing. And this one's in mixed reality. I haven't played this yet, but this is one on my list, and I just like I don't know. I think this looks really cool.
Well, especially because you don't have to like physically set anything up yourself. These things always look cool, but then you're like, there's no way in hell I would set something up like that. And then I would see a dog in there, and I'm like, my dog would come and mess it up, and it'd
like their tail would just like hit something, and then everything. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, this is in my mind. I've always been like, man, this is totally something I'm gonna do in the future, and then But then I've never actually done it because exactly that. It just takes so much effort. That's why VR is so great, because it's virtual. Things can be done quicker and it's
and
really
cheaper.
nice.
I mean, it's kind of like those painting apps too. You don't have to worry about buying canvases and paints. You don't have to
That's
worry about
true.
buying like I don't even the dominoes and tracks and stuff for this. Like you just got to pay for
Yeah.
the app and then you're set.
There's even this like app before that I haven't tried either, but it was like this is gonna make me sound so freaking nerdy, but it was like an like electrical circuits simulator. So instead of having to actually buy like the little electrical parts, like your Arduino breadboard and stuff, you can just do it like in VR. It's something again on my list of things to play. I'm such a lame-o. You're like, oh, we should talk about
There's
the
a
games that
lot.
we're like, we should talk about the games we've been playing lately. I'm like, oh, I've been learning how to speak a different language in VR. And also, I want to play this electronic simulator.
No, but that's super cool. Like, there's also more to VR than just games. You know, like I feel like a lot of people overlook all of the kind of the nerdier stuff or the more artistic stuff. So it's good. It's good to have all angles. But I feel like my segment should have been like, here's all the games that I should have played that everyone else has played that I have not.
That's so. I know it just. Adulting is hard. It takes so much time.
That's why this podcast is only once a month, because you've got
exactly
you got to play the things and have a life and do other VR stuff. Work VR
exactly.
stuff.
By the way, for anyone that's like a channel member or like in the Patreon, we did host a brainstorming session for this podcast. So a lot of these topics we talked about with our VIPs and stuff on Monday. So basically, for the next podcast, make sure you come to that VIP session if you're a channel member and stuff. All right, so Brandon VR says, June 1st, I have high hopes for now. And of course, he is alluding to the Meta Gaming Showcase that's coming up. Anyone have any guesses, or I don't know, what are you thinking, Adam?
I'm expecting maybe the most hyped thing we'll see is a Quest 3 announcement. Again, I don't think it's going to be like, hey, you can buy it now, but I think it's going to be like, hey, it's going to be, we're announcing it. Here's what it looks like officially. And it comes out, I don't know, whenever, fall, winter. Like, I think I'm guessing within this year. Games wise, though, I don't know if we'll even see anything about Grand Theft Auto.
What do you want?
I don't know. I think, like, based on the teasers that we've seen, I know a lot of people are thinking we might see like Asgard's Wrath, like a 2 for the Quest. But I, again, keep my expectations low. I think we're just going to see a port to the Quest. Like, it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be a little different because they're not going to be able to do the complete game because it was for PC on the Quest. But I think it's just going to be like reskinned, sort of same story, but Quest version. Like, again, I keep my expectations super low, so that if it's very easy to surpass them versus being overhyped and then just disappointed every time.
That's what I should have done for the PlayStation show. Like, I was so angry. It's fine. We moved on from that.
But I think those would be my guesses on the two bigger things. Yeah, and then just a bunch of small stuff.
I'm excited. I think they'll also live stream the showcase on June 1st. So lots of live streams coming up. Z-Storm is here. Hi, Z-Storm.
Okay.
And Wes is here from Virtual Strangers. Hello, Virtual Strangers, Wes. And Waffy's Alternate Realities. Good to see you. All right. So did you want to talk a little bit about Live, Adam?
Oh, yes. Okay. So in the beginning of the podcast, I won't go too much into it so it doesn't sound like a work promo, but I mentioned that I work at Live, which is the VR capture software. Originally, we started off with mixed reality, being able to read chat and headset, VTuber solutions. I know that it's not too recent of an update, but I know I've seen it come up a couple times in that we used to have a auto background remover in the app. So essentially, if you want to do mixed reality and you didn't have a green screen, you could do it. The only problem was we had to remove that because we didn't actually create that technology. That was licensed from a third-party company that's called Segmentive. And unfortunately, we found that like for the amount of people that were using it versus the cost we were paying for it, it didn't balance out. Also considering the Live app is free, so we were making like negatives essentially on it. So unfortunately, that was part of the decision or the big factor from deciding to remove segmentive. But I mean, it's like all is not lost. So if you do if you have a NVIDIA card, like you can use the auto background remover that NVIDIA Broadcast has with Live still, and that works just fine. But otherwise, yeah, I know that there have been also a couple of questions on the directions that Live has been going, and I can't say too much other than like we are trying to figure out a way to monetize finally. We're sort of, I know it's sad to say, we're kind of moving away from content creator tools. Not to say that we're not abandoning it, but we're just not going to be creating any more like creator specific features. And we're looking more into like VR markets as a whole. Like we have the Live store now where you can buy and sell avatars. It's kind of like a VR marketplace that's starting with avatars, but eventually we want to add like you can commission worlds for VR chat and what have you on there, or Neos. Like it doesn't have to be game specific, just VR specific. And then we're also working on a communications thing that I can't talk about. Well, yeah, a better way of being able to communicate in VR that I can't say too much of yet, but I can say that there's going to be prototypes and testing soon. So if you're interested in trying that out, you can just message me on Twitter. I'm just AtomBombBody on Twitter and say, hey, I heard you talking about that cool communications prototype thingy. I want to be a part of that, and we can get you in there. But yeah, just I guess brief little Live blip in that we're a relatively small company that's growing, but just trying to find our footing still where we stand in the VR space and how we can stay alive. Like we do have to make money. We can't be free forever. Well, the capture tools will always be free. We didn't want to suddenly be like, hey, you have to pay for Live now. Like that's kind of a dick move. It'd just be a different thing, I guess.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I mean, I totally get it, like working for a small VR company, because I too work at a very small VR company. I'm sure anyone that's been around for a little bit, I've talked about a lot how me, Eric, and Eric Masher from Q2C and Skiva founded our VR focused company, Impact Reality. So all of us are going to be at AWE next week. Yay! So if any of you are going to be at AWE, like hit us up. Let's meet up. Let's hang out. We love VR people.
Not to interject, I'm happy, sad. I know I told you yesterday I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make it to AWE. My plans were that I did. I had flights, I had hotel, but I got invited to a Diablo 4 launch party in LA that's in the middle of AWE. So I'm like, AWE is every year, but the launch party is like a one-time thing. So I will miss you guys though, and we see each other at events all the time. So I'm gonna have fun.
Sad. I literally see you at every single event. Like you are at every single event. And like now that we're doing okay, I think probably we're only going to those events before, so you could say someone needs to start a female podcast. And now that it's happening, you're like, I'm not going to events anymore. Sorry, I got Diablo things to go to.
I don't need to do that anymore. But anyway, I didn't mean to Impact Reality is doing some cool stuff. So I can't wait to see what you've improved upon.
Well, I don't really want to talk about it too much here unless anyone wants me to, but I did work on the website lately. So look how cute our website is. Oh, wow. We have testimonials now. And these are it's crazy. We've only been around for just under a year. And look at all these games that we've been working with. It's a ton of games. And then I'm
so proud of you guys.
I'm so
marketing and PR and all that stuff has always been super interesting to me. So when I saw you and Eric and Skiva, and I'm like, hey, these are all the coolest people that I know in VR. Now they're all working together and doing really awesome marketing stuff with the other VR game companies. I'm like, that is awesome.
It has been insane. It is it's a lot of work, and we're definitely very startup-y, so it can be very stressful. Like financially, it's always like, what do we like? We need to get another client, we need to do this, we need to do that. And so it's a lot of things that happen in it, but it's also very rewarding because we get to like work with all these like game devs, which is just like what a dream. I don't know if I ever told the story before, but I like when I was working in the tech industry about a year ago, I was applying, I was like, I really wanted to work in games. And, you know, I have a pretty good resume because I worked in the tech industry. And so I literally applied and like cold message like probably 50 people on LinkedIn who worked in the gaming industry. And it was any games. I was like, I don't care. I am like, I have, my standards are so low. I was like, mobile game that no one plays, absolutely sign me up. So I cold messaged about 50 people with like my very good background, and I got a reply from 0 people. Literally nobody would even give me a chance because I didn't have a gaming background. They were like, I don't care about your resume, you don't work in games. Like, screw you. It was really sad. And so then I was like, okay, well, I really want to work at games. What do I do? So that's when I like quit my job, and I was like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure something. I didn't know what I was going to do, but there's been plenty of times in my life when I was just like, you know what, if I like leave whatever I'm doing now, I'll be forced to figure it out and get to where I want to get to. Exactly. And I didn't have this plan to like find this like company, Impact Reality with like Steve and Eric. That was never in the plans. Like I didn't really have any plans. It was kind of like give myself 1 year to figure it out. And the other day though, to like, because we look back and we're like, man, we've worked with so many games and we've learned so much and we've grown so much. And we've like, you know, hired like several people too. So when we were looking, like the other day, I was like, you guys, we're a real company. Like we're really doing this. We have like clients, we have people, we have meetings, we have meeting notes.
Like, sometimes you have to just do, you know, like, I think that was part of why I didn't end up making this podcast, was I like over planned things when really I should have just done what you did, was just do. And like, then that, I think that kind of holds us back sometimes. And then it's true, you know, you do, things are rough in the beginning, you do make mistakes, but you learn from them. And that's the important part. So I don't know, just, you're a doer, and that makes me, me happy. I am definitely more like other Jasmine.
Yeah, I'm definitely the doer type, because to me, I'm like, okay, I've always thought of this analogy when if you were about to jump off something scary, right? Like jump off a cliff and like maybe go cliff diving or like jump into like water or something. If you do it right away, it just happens. But if you spend enough time thinking about it, you'll keep thinking yourself into being scared that you just never do it. And so a lot of times I will act before I think, which is, it sounds terrible, but to me, I'm like, then I have no choice but to figure it out. Like, you know, if I make this rash decision, I have to figure it out because there's no other choice.
Gotta follow through.
Yeah. And if I think about it, it's just not going to happen. So that's been very, very exciting. So yeah, if you're at AWE next week, the entire Impact team, which if you didn't know, we're not only 3 people now. I think we're like 6, 7 people. I don't know. We have a lot of people.
Oh,
wow. Yeah,
awesome.
we're growing, and it's really great. So I did have one final topic I want to talk about because I want to keep this podcast somewhat short. So we had some other topics, but man, we talked a lot.
I warned you.
Well, yes, I do too. I was like, I don't know. So I did want to mention one really, really, really cool thing that I had the like pleasure of being able to try at GDC. And at that time, it was like very, very embargo, super secret NDA stuff. But now I think they're a bit more public about it. So if you haven't heard of Virtex Stadium, they basically, well, you know, let me just throw a video. Why am I talking through this? You could just watch it for yourself. Give me a second.
It's like
jump near your favorite player and follow all of their steps. Teleporting into the 3D arena allows you to watch whatever you like at any moment and jump back to your seat whenever you want, so you can have a mix and match of both.
Okay, I think I played that out of order. So let me play the other one, which might give more context. But basically, it's a stadium in VR, like a VR stadium for esports. So you could sit in the stadium and watch the esport in front of you, or you can like teleport to the players who you want to watch that are playing the sport. And it's here, let me show you the other video.
Broadcast producer, your job is to deliver the best moments to the viewers. Different scenarios, weather, and map customizations are built exactly for that. The ultimate experience for passionate fans is in your hands.
Okay, maybe I didn't pick the best clips, but yeah,
Badass.
it's oh gosh, it's so cool. Okay, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I'll just say that yeah, it's like it's a VR stadium where you can like sit here, and so they just partnered with CS:GO. So the gameplay that in the middle is CS:GO, but the thing that's different from watching it on like a Twitch stream, for example, is because it's in VR, they've actually like taken the 3D or like I don't know map from the game, and they have it so you can manipulate it while you're in the viewing stand. So you can actually like each layer of the floors, you can pull up the roof and get rid of it if you don't want it. You could pull up the first floor and get rid of it if you don't want it. It's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a game.
There's so much customization to the spectator tools. Again, I got to try it. I think that almost at the same time as you at GDC. So I don't know how much we're allowed to say, but
well, that video was public. So he posted about it on LinkedIn. So the CEO of Virtex Stadium posted about it on LinkedIn like 3 days ago. And that's why I messaged him before this podcast. I was like, can I, is this public now? Can I talk about this? Because it was so cool.
Yeah, there's customization, like the spectator tools they have built into this thing are insane. Like you can have roof off, you can have change the weather of the arena.
Oh my
like,
gosh, yes, I forgot about that part.
It's insane. I hope that they're able to partner with more game companies because they're working, directly with CS:GO. They're able to pull those maps, all the direct assets into Virtex. But I hope that they're going to be able to do the same for other games, because otherwise it'll just be like CS:GO only, which is fine. And I think I don't know what the audience is like for people who watch CS:GO tournaments, but like, man, can you imagine? I don't know, just like the Overwatch in this thing, if they pulled Overwatch maps and you could see, like players flying around, or, hopefully we'll get more good VR esports games that you could pull into this thing too. Like I feel like the possibilities are endless. Their only hard part is just going to be making sure they can get those deals, those partnerships, so that they can get the assets they need to make it look as good as it does. But it's a really like a freaking incredible start. I'll tell you what.
It is like when I tried it, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, look at this. So you get to go into the stadium and hang out with your friends. I think they can have up to like 200 or something people in the stadium. So all of those people in the stadium that you see are like real people. And also, I don't know how much I can say, so let me just stop. I don't know what was in my NDA. It's just really cool. But like Adam said, there is like you can control the weather. So he even showed us this feature where like you can like trigger snow in the stadium, and the snow will actually pile up on the CS:GO map. And because they've like they've brought in the 3D model of like CS:GO, like the snow will accumulate on that map, and then if you turn off the snow and you bring in the sun, it will like actually melt in like a logical time. I don't know how to explain that. And also because it's this arena, you can go and watch the game with the players, if that makes sense. So if you think about it, like in Among Us, when you're a ghost, you can follow people around. You can do that in this.
Hey, speaking of, we've got Jersey. So he said that they don't. So okay, my bad. Developers don't actually give them the assets; they just work with them on IP licensing. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what we said. Like, we don't know what we're talking about. You should talk about this, Jersey.
Regardless, like I really hope, because I know how tricky it can be. Like for example, on the live side, you're always going to need permission, of course, in order to be able to create something this crisp, this close to whatever game you're looking at. So I really hope that they can get that working, because this is cool, even for non-VR people, because you can watch this in either in VR in the stadium or on a flat screen. Like if somebody wants to stream an event on Twitch using this, so it's so versatile. So I almost I'm even hesitant to say it's just a VR thing because I think it can work exceptionally well for either or. But of course, being biased, I want it to be. I want to make sure that VR users are going to be using the VR portion of it so that it stays a feature, that they keep working on it. But it's so cool. Like I haven't seen anything like this that could potentially work with multiple games. So it's, I don't know, so good.
Yeah, and I think what's exciting too is we're seeing games like Ghost of Tabor and Breachers, which are like perfect for this. And so yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens with this. So yeah,
like, I'm not an esports person, but I feel like it's yeah, like this would be an interesting enough way for me to even watch. I think, like I said, the most I've ever watched was like some Overwatch stuff back in the day. But now I'm going to be sad because I'm like, I wish I could have watched it like this. I probably would have been a lot more involved and engaged because there's nothing that can really, well, I say nothing, but I don't know if you've ever been somewhere where it's like a live esports event, but it's very hard to replicate that feeling. But I feel like with this in VR, it's going to come really close and be a heck of a lot cheaper because you're not going to have to fly out to wherever hotel and price to entry, and you're going to deal with the smelly dude next to you who doesn't wear deodorant. So much better.
Yeah. So, I mean, super exciting. So yeah, that was our very first podcast episode. How do you feel, Jasmine?
I feel good. I'm excited. I have some ideas I wanted to run by chat that they can tell me if it's awful or not later. I won't be offended. But when we have guests on, I kind of want to do like a little mini game with them. Something kind of like, is it a VR accident or a regular accident? The name will be pending. I know it's awful. So I'll basically play a sound clip of what sounds like someone being injured. And the guest has to guess if it's a VR accident or not. Because I figured that be good for audio listeners as well, and other things kind of like a guess that sound, like picking big mostly well-known some kind of sound file from well-known VR games and having them see if they can figure out what game it's from, etc. Cute, like little things like that will probably take 10-15 minutes, but little game show, like, and we'll see how it goes.
Totally. Samson, thank you so much for did a $2 donation for our very first podcast. Thank you.
The first of many.
Yeah, first of many, right? But yeah, so like our idea for this podcast, as you could tell right now, is we're trying to make this very lighthearted. That's our whole goal here. Is everyone's why so serious, friends? Let's just chill out. We want to do some, like Adam said, we want to do some like mini games with our guests, like do some fun stuff, and talk about like games and apps and experiences in VR, things that are like not traditional gaming kind of stuff. Just give a different perspective into the VR industry. Oh my gosh, Bluebell!
Oh,
just gave us a $10 donation. Thank you so much, Bluebell. That is so sweet of you.
I see Bluebell everywhere. Like,
Bluebell is the
awesome.
best. I don't know. How do I sign off on the podcast? This is my first one. How do we sign off?
Thank everyone for participating, for being here.
Thank you, everyone, for participating and being here. What else do I say? Smile.
Eventually we might like, we haven't really figured out like color schemes yet. Maybe we have a loose idea, but eventually we might have kind of more branded graphics, maybe one day.
It's all a work in progress, but you guys are here at the very, very beginning. So so thanks for being here, and thank you. This will be eventually when I figure it out on all the streaming platforms where it's audio stuff, and bye, I guess. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. See ya.